Today on Beyond the Lens, we're joined by Tony, Senior Video Producer at Global Tour Creatives, the powerhouse behind high-impact visuals for some of the biggest names in music and live entertainment. From crafting tour promos and VFX edits for artists like The Weeknd, Tate, The Eagles, and Shinedown, to working directly with venues like Madison Square Garden and SoFi Stadium. Tony's creative leadership drives some of the most recognizable visuals in the industry. With 5 years at GTC and a move into a senior leadership role, he is now overseeing a team of video producers, balancing rapid project turnover with the relentless demands of A-list clientele. Welcome, Tony.
Hi, thanks. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, good to have you on. Now, Tony, let me dig in. As someone who's climbed from hands-on creative into a leadership role managing multiple high-stakes projects and personalities, right? Can you walk us through a moment when the demands of the speed, quality, and client expectations all sort of collided, and how that sort of shaped your growth as a producer and a leader as well in the business?
Sure, yeah. Honestly, we sort of face that challenge on a weekly basis. Sometimes daily if we're announcing multiple tours at a time within a few days period. I definitely, you know, I do. We do face challenges as a team, prioritizing specific artists, and a lot of the times we have to decide, is this needed today? Can I push this to tomorrow? Or is this something that like absolutely needs our attention immediately? So yeah, I know I've developed my own coping mechanisms to make sure that, our clients are happy and everything gets announced at, um, you know, in a timely fashion. We're not prioritizing one artist over another, or that it could be obvious that we're prioritizing one over another. So sometimes it's difficult to navigate, but we do our best, and it's it's uh it's not always the smoothest road, but we make it work.
Absolutely. So, Tony, whether it's artists or clients, right, you got to treat them as if they're the only ones that you're dealing with, right? They want to
Exactly.
be treated like ch children almost. They require full attention and demand everything they can get. Um, Now, Tony, what is sort of happening in the market overall that you see might be creating a bit of a shift in the business? And in the industry as a whole.
Um, I'd say recently there's the most obvious change, I think, at least in the video department, um, at Global Tour Creatives. I've noticed that there's more artists, like um, more artists than people going on larger tours. So there's like an increase in clientele and the amount of artists that we're working with, but they either aren't having as many dates, or they're just doing small runs, like whether it be like a Vegas residency or something over in the UK or Europe. I see there's an increase in the amount of people touring versus the volume that they're touring at, if that makes sense.
Interesting. Is there anything related to the demand or consumer changes in consumption at all, or is it just
I'm not sure if it's a issue of demand, or I'm not really sure. To be honest, I know there is demand obviously for high clients that are very popular, and there's definitely demand for them to tour, but I find that they're touring maybe less frequently than we were used to in prior years.
gotcha? And how do you manage circumstances relating to actually having a good long relationship with the client versus what might be happening in the industry as external factors?
Yeah, we've developed personal relationships with the marketers and the people that are ordering the orders from us, whether it be video or graphic design related content. We just always try to stay as professional as we can. Make sure that their needs are being met, even if it's something that's like a revision is needed, and maybe one or two or maybe multiple people are asking for revisions, and they're kind of clashing heads with each other about what we should do and how we can revise something, all in a timely manner. We try to make it a priority to, meet everyone's needs based on, um, what's possible and feasible. But we develop like almost like a friendship with the people that we work with. So it's not really sometimes I find when I first got started, sorry, I'm jumping all around here, but
No, no, go
uh,
for it. Yeah.
I was sort of kind of thrown into the process. I didn't really have a second to um, kind of adjust. I after COVID, things like ramped up a lot. So I kind of got thrown into the whole world of dealing with clients one on one, and um, it I developed the process of just treating them like they're a friend or not necessarily like a client or having it's not like I'm talking to just words on a page. Like I try to see that these are real people and they have you know it's not just you know I'm not just speaking to like a robot or something.
Yeah, yeah. I totally get it. And especially when the company's growing and you've got all these numbers you got to meet and demands, it's hard to sort of realize that these are people and these are genuine concerns, and they're important to deal with especially when they're a little bit frustrated, and that's the time when you can actually support them the best, and that's when they stick by you for the longest as well.
Absolutely, yes. We have usually like once or twice a year we'll host like the Live Nation team over at our office, and we'll have these sort of extra, just sort of like team bonding, like social, like not parties, but it's more of like a work like environment where we get to meet these our clients face to face. And I think those in particular are helpful when we're building relationships with people and actually getting to meet them face to face instead of just over the computer. Um, I find
Nice.
when we get to have develop a one-on-one or like relationship, seeing a face, having a face to the name is helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's important to note there are plenty of studies out there that actually suggest and back the fact that when you initiate a relationship with a client, the longest relationships and the most healthy relationships are ones where the first month of interaction and engagement you are providing the most value, even though later on it may come down a little bit, but that first month when they're uncertain and it's a period where they require a lot of trust and credibility building. Um, and if you meet them in that period of time, I think that goes a long way.
Right. Yeah.
Tony, what do you feel is happening in the current competitive landscape right now? What's the competition look like?
To be honest, I'm not really. I think we have Tour Creatives has majority of the market share when it comes to tour design. Um, I think we have. I think there's a Polestar um, chart that came out last year. I think it comes out yearly, but it's just pretty much the top selling artists of the year, and we usually have about 9 to 10 of that list on our client list. So I'm not really too sure at the moment who our competitor is. I know there are other companies out there, but I know that I think for the most part, artists and musicians and touring acts funnel through our company. So um, I'm not too sure. I know there are others, but I think um, we have majority of the market when it comes to clientele.
Yeah. I think that's a good shape to be in, not know who the actual competition is.
Right.
But um, all jokes aside, it's also quite important to know what the competition is doing in terms of their offers um, and what's sort of attracting ideal clients, ideal artists that might be going to them instead? Is it like something we're doing wrong? Maybe clients and artists are actually leaving us to go to them? And do you find that might be something that you've experienced or not? That's usually you find churn rate is quite low with the business right now.
I don't think, to be honest, I don't think I can name someone who has left us unless they have their own team of people that they want to go through, like a creative director or their own
Hmm.
team of like video producers or graphic designers. Like unless it's their own team that they're like seeing every day and they're in their own offices and stuff, I think that's when um, those people might go a different direction. Um, but I think we we have developed a formula, and I think we've been good about um, making sure that our work is it's valuable and you're not going to get it anywhere else.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not really. I don't think that there's been an artist that has left us like willingly like that. I don't think.
Amazing. Tony, what are some of the most important metrics for you? And I'm sure part of that would be actually retaining a lot of your artists. But other than that, what are some of the most priority uh, metrics for you in the business right now?
Metrics. I'm not. To be honest, I'm more of a creative, so I'm creating the videos and working um, basically all on the creative side. Um, it's I'm not really too sure about the metrics of in that department just because I mainly deal with video editing, animation. Um, I deal with clients one-on-one as well, but my focus is primarily video and creating the content. So I'm probably
Gotcha.
not the best person to ask.
So that would be a lot of, on your end, it would be a lot of qualitative sort of measures in terms of a lot of quality, and you just getting the same amount of output regularly is almost like a measure of good quality. That means clients can continue to see good quality coming through and they keep coming back, right? That's usually a good measure for that as well. How much, in terms of output, are you producing for videos and edits and that sort of stuff?
I would say we could go through like maybe 10 or 11 different tours in a given week. Like I know yesterday or a couple days ago, I think I had to go switch projects probably like 5 or 6 times just in a few hours.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to juggle at certain points, and I think I've developed a long-term relationship with burnout, but I've there's coping mechanisms, and I try to just take little breaks here and there and make sure that my mind is right and I'm not overworking myself, or there's not anybody that I work with that's if they need a break, then totally take a break. But the industry can be brutal, especially with the demand that we receive. Um,
Absolutely. That does sound hectic, to be honest. And with those types of schedules, Tony, I think it's like best to actually have a physical alarm clock there, and just once the 25 minutes is up, hit hit that and just really go out, have a fresh breath of air, and um, 5 minutes, and then back to it. I think that really just being more disciplined about hitting that clock is really important as well.
Absolutely. Uh, I think yeah, definitely getting some fresh air helps a lot because especially with post-production, I could be behind the screen for 13 hours a day.
Yeah,
I try to wear my blue light glasses as much as I can, or to remember, just to keep the eye strain to a minimum. Yeah, I walk, taking like short walks. Our office is in West Hollywood, so we're in kind of a nice area to just, there's neighborhoods all around, and
nice.
just getting some fresh air helps for sure.
Nice. And I not to diverge from the topic, that just wearing the glasses is so important these days. I don't think people realize the significance of it. Just wearing that can improve your sleep, and by having a better sleep, it's just better energy, better productivity, and everything. So people just, put on some glasses, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. It's they're not too expensive. I think I have the ones that aren't tinted, so I know there's some that are like tinted yellow or something like that. I find the clear lenses are the ones to go with. Yeah, I had problems with my eyes ever since I was little, just not with the sight, but like I don't know, they get irritated, and even eye drops or anything. It's definitely not always healthy to be staring at a screen for multiple hours a day, all day after day. So definitely taking care of your body, and trying to notice the signs of when you might be, you know, there's definitely physical, signs that you can tell that, I need to take a break or just breather and get my eyes like a rest. Even my hands, like I find that typing and holding my hand in a certain position for a long period of time is can be it. I don't want to develop any sort of physical like issues down the line, but um, yeah, I think just noticing those physical like signs can, if you catch those things early, it can help you down the line for sure.
I completely agree, and I think this is an important conversation, Tony, and not a lot of people are having this because of the amount of time we're spending on computers and sitting down in front of these screens. It is ever so more important to find ways where you can relax your body, your eyes, and mind as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and like standing desks are great too, just to stretch. And I find myself hunching over a lot.
Yeah.
Just naturally, kind of like, because like, if you're focusing, it's just kind of a natural thing to like look in, and especially with the work that we do, and
Yeah.
it's very detail oriented, so I have to make sure that it's like lined up correctly or it looks right. So just find myself bending over a lot, but when I can, I try to stand up, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because your spine is carrying about a 5 kg of head, right? And
Right.
to bend over, there's a big strain on the body and long-term effects associated with that. So yeah, I'm glad we had this conversation about this as well. Tony, what are some of the most pressing sort of goals going forward for the company as a whole, for management, in the next 6 to 12 months?
I think our goals are we just want to keep our clients happy, our coworkers happy. I think with the amount of people and artists that we work with, I think just maintaining those relationships and making sure that our trajectory is still online with the way that it's been since, at least since I've started. When I joined, I think there was like 12 or 15 people, and now we have like 65 in office, and maybe up to 80, including remote people. Um, I think we've been growing steadily for quite a while, and our goals, I think, are just to, continue doing what we're doing and have a have a nice sort of outlook. And I'm thankful that I get to work in the industry, even though it can be brutal at times. But I think just having a good mindset, maintaining our relationships, and making sure that we're still putting out the best work we can. I think that's our top goal.
Amazing. Putting out the best work means retaining the clients and relationships you've already built and spent so long in building. But how important is it also to bring on some of those newer clients as well?
I would say it's just as important than with maintaining, just because if you wow the new client once, like they're more than likely coming back, if not positively coming back to you. Just because like my mindset with animating and video editing is I do my best with every single project to just if they have a vision or if a certain artist wants things a certain way, and it's my first time working with them, I really try to nail the, nail it on the head with them and like their vision so that you know, I can show my skill set along with our team's ability to create things like like at the click of a button per se.
Amazing.
I just to show them that we have the capability to pretty much see their vision and make it come to light.
Amazing. So it seems like you pay a little bit more attention to the newcomers and just so that they can see the capacity and the capabilities you guys do have. So can you walk me through a little bit like what it is that's a little bit different in your onboarding stages?
Right, yeah. So, well, I wouldn't say that I'd pay attention to one more than the other. I would say it's equal. I think it's just as important to maintain as it is to build new um, relationships. But when I've worked with an artist or a team of people before, um, I sort of already have the idea of the vision that they have because they like things a certain way, and we've sort of developed I can see from a prior project how they like things done. So with that first client, we're first working with them, it's just it's important to have a um, to make sure that their vision is like correct on the first go, or at least like after a few revisions, that they're happy with our work and what we put out for them. I would say it's just as equally as important as maintaining. So um, yeah, hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah, yeah. I totally get it. And with that regard, what is some of the most important what's more important than anything else right now to you and to management as well? And is there a difference there or is there some sort of alignment with that?
I think the most important to me, you know, I just want to do the best work that I can, and I know that our our um, our founders just want to keep growing and having just a solid connection with the rest of the team and with our clients. I think, I love what we do, and I know that everyone else on the team feels the same. It's yeah, it's importance is like, with whether it be work or just personal life. I think ultimately feeling fulfilled and happy with what you're doing um, is the most important thing. I'm lucky that I found this career path early on. I know I started when I went to college. I was a kinesiology major, so I was like really into like the health and science, fitness science aspect of that was my degree or not my degree, but my field that I chose my first semester. And after I did that, I was like, this just feels wrong. I changed my major to electronic art at Colorado State University, and I was just like, I know, the whole art major like has a little, stereotypical thing to it, like, oh,
Yeah.
you're taking out loans for an art degree. I'm like, yeah, but something that just feels right about, what I'm doing. I felt like I was doing the right thing, even though like all signs
Hmm.
pointed to it not being the right thing.
Hmm.
But I stuck with it, and I'm very grateful and thankful that I did what I did, even though it was
Amazing.
not really the right way, or there's no right or wrong way, but there's definitely some doubters, especially online, and it's if it feels right to you or to anybody doing what they want to do and loving their job and getting excited about doing the work, it's just whether it be in creative spaces or in the live event and music industry, it's staying happy with yourself and being excited about what the work you're doing is probably the most important thing, especially to me.
Exactly. And it seemed like you actually found a bit of alignment there with your goals and career, and especially with your peers also enjoying their work life is almost like a testament to the working culture as well. So you've really come into a place that excites you and gets you going, and I think that's the type of culture that really thrives and grows. And to that end, Tony, you did mention that the founders are interested in really growing the business, and as they've proven, right, from when you joined with what did you say, 20 employees or something into now, which is 60 to 80.
Yeah, it
Um,
was around that number. Yeah.
Tremendous growth. And with that regard, what is like for the next chapter of the company? What do you feel like is the biggest sort of hurdle right now going forward?
I think it's just maintaining a balance. I think um, I'm not to be honest, I'm not really. I don't want to speak for them or speak for anybody on the team. Um, but yeah, I'm not really sure how to answer that question. I apologize, but
No worries. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I don't really focus on any hurdles or like obstacles. I kind of just problem solve, and I'm not really like too focused on the whole like, oh, like what challenges are we gonna face? Like I challenges like come about in our line of work, and we just kind of like project manage it and deal with it, take it head on. So I'm not really too focused on, what's anything like negative, or like I don't like look at the work that way.
Yeah, amazing. And I get exactly like my little challenges to big challenges. I think the mindset is consistent. If you're a little bit relentless and you're persistent, you're gonna get through it. And in terms of project management, Tony, is there a particular software or platform that you use to manage everything?
Pretty much just my emails and working one-on-one with James Highland. He's my direct boss. He's one of the founders. He does artist relations. So between just emails and my messages with him, I don't really use a particular platform other than like Gmail. But I've kind of just developed my own system of organizing folders, and um, I start things and organize them depending on the artist or the campaign or whatever it may be. I know there's probably a better way I could organize how I work, but I've sort of developed my own system, and it works for me. So,
Yeah, don't fix what isn't broken,
right.
um, to the max. And but we find that companies are, especially media production companies and production companies, they like to use ClickUp and Slack for communications just because of the integrations and scalability associated with that. Is there maybe you do have sort of Slack for that sort of communication or
No, we just pretty much use Google Mail, like Google Meet, Google Chat.
gotcha?
I know I've used Slack before for like freelance work, just because that was their main line of communication. But for us at Global Tour Creatives, we don't. Um, I know that some of our other team members, like operations and maybe the graphic design team,
Gotcha.
have their own way of working with things. But for me, I just pretty much stick to Google, and I have my own note-taking process. Just I like writing things down. Um,
Gotcha.
yeah, so
Gotcha. And really coming down to the end, Tony, what's something that is a big milestone for you that you want to sort of hit within 12 to, within the year or going forward?
well, actually, we were nominated for I think it's Tour Company of the Year. I think on Polestar.
Amazing.
I
Amazing.
think we're one of a few companies that I think this is a new category. I think it would be cool to win that, to achieve that goal and be recognized for the work that we do here. I think the event is taking place in April at the Beverly Hilton Hotel, I think. It's kind of cool to see our name in that list of other like filmmaking and actors and stuff. It's a cool thing to see our company get recognition for the work that we do. And I'll be at the event. Hopefully we get the win. But that
Yeah.
would be a really cool achievement, I think, to be a part of something like that.
Amazing. Amazing, Tony. This has been lovely. Thank you so much for sharing your insights, and I look forward to speaking again.
Of course, yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It was fun.
Sweet. Thank you, Tony.